My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome to Property Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Kaminsky, filling in for the fearless Dave Dubeau. And have you ever wondered how one entrepreneur navigates the challenges of real estate investing, balancing a growing family, and securing private funds for deals? Well, today, my guest, Matt Fillipoff from Think Real Estate Solutions, has some fascinating insights to share. Matt, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So let's go right back to the beginning here. And what really got you started in the whole real estate game?
You know what? When I was very young, I was all anxious. I remember I was all anxious to buy a Cadillac Escalade. And I don't know why. I was saving money. I was thinking I'm gonna buy some cool vehicle, and something just clicked in my head, and I was like, no, I'm gonna buy a house. It's gonna appreciate, it's not gonna depreciate. It's gonna, it's gonna help me move forward. And bought a house at 22 years old, lived in it, fixed it up, ended up selling it, making a few bucks. And I was like, hey, this makes money. Like, this isn't hard. I like this. Bought another one, fixed that one up a little bit, made a couple bucks. With the rentals, I bought a third property that I was moving into, and I was moving into it. I was fixing it up. It didn't sell, so I ended up renting it. And I was like, hey, wait a minute, like, this isn't so bad either. I got a really good tenant, and he actually, he stayed in that property for 8 or 9 years.
Nice.
And I was like, this is great. I'm going to start buying more rentals. So I started buying more rentals. I think because I had a good experience from the get-go, it kind of drew me in more. I want more. I want more. I want to do this. I want to grow this. I've talked to people who have had bad first experiences, and they're like, I'm never doing this again. You're crazy. Like, who would ever do this? And I probably would have done the same. So I think maybe I got a little lucky that I got off on the right foot, and I was like, I see, the money that can be made and the financial freedom that's there. And I was just hooked. Like, it was just
Yeah,
the
it could have
best
went
thing.
either way, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
They could have been there for 8 days and trashed the place and turned it into a party house, and
yeah,
you might have turned into a flipper like the rest of the people that go that way. They're like, I like
yeah.
property, but they end
But
up
I don't like that. No,
no
the
tenants, no toilets, right? But
tenant business is different, but you learn to navigate it. So
yeah, they're just, the better you get at screening, the better your life is for tenancies. So what do you like most about your real estate strategy these days?
um I think I think I'm like, what I'm doing that's probably maybe a little bit different than other people
Mhm.
is everybody's kind of buying these properties looking to do full gut jobs. I think for their
Yeah,
rentals, I know they want to do brand new everything, top to bottom, get the absolute top dollar for it. But in some cases, I've also noticed that, like, people's incomes just don't support that. So when you see people listing 24, $2,500 units,
they
that's
look
tough to
great.
afford.
They
That's
look
tough to
great.
afford. I've got a couple units that are going to be coming up. I've budgeted for $1,200 a month each for two bedroom units.
Hmm.
It's not unreasonable. People can afford that. You're
Yeah,
gonna, maybe you are drawing a lower income crowd, but you can attract people that actually can afford it and don't feel like the greedy landlord is gouging them. And if I can make money and still make it affordable for them, I think that's a win-win. And I'm a lot less likely to have, people up and leave faster, or not pay and move out, or whatever that may be. So I think that's something that I probably do that not everybody's looking to do. They
hmm,
want to do that full top to bottom. I see it all the time, brand new everything. And it's expensive for us to do that, and it's expensive for the tenant then too. So trying to salvage what we can and make it a little more affordable. I think people appreciate that.
yeah. I mean, you're still getting $600 a bed, which is a pretty good number. any day of the year. But you're right, a lot of people are chasing that refi and their quartz countertops and open concept this. And yes, it's a great looking house and it'll be great um, to sell one day. But I'm always concerned. We've got a couple of rental units where we just did that. We went in and we just made it right and made it nice and made it affordable. And what's great about that is tenants don't have a lot of options to up and leave. They can always downgrade,
That's
go
right.
from 2,500 to 2,100 in some place that isn't maybe so fancy, but the 1,200 to go to like 1,600 because it's fancy is a lot more challenging. So you do get that tendency that's grateful of the pricing and want to stick around.
Absolutely. And I think another part of that, like for me personally, anyways, I know a lot of people are doing, they're putting stuff in their name or in somebody else's name, and they're doing these
Hmm.
joint
Hmm.
ventures. I've got a holding company. I am, once I hit a certain volume, I'm kind of subject to cash flow more than anything.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter if the house gets appraised for 400 and the cash flow only supports 150, and that's a real number for me. I've got an appraisal at 400
Hmm.
and the cash flow only supports 150. So
Hmm.
that's all well and good. I should be getting a 320 mortgage, but because it's in this company, what am I supposed to do, right? So I think I'm looking at cash flow as opposed to
Number
the
of
overall
doors.
value, the overall
Yeah.
value of it. So that's my perspective, and that again might be something that not everybody's doing. They're doing these JVs and stuff, and whereas I'm more looking to borrow private money, have total control, 100% ownership. I'll pay your interest that you want, I'll pay you back, and we'll do another one, or
Hmm.
we'll leave some money in that deal. Yeah. So again, like maybe that's not everybody's perspective, but it's done all right for me, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, that's the thing that's nice about real estate is it's kind of a personal thing what you're doing with your properties. And that's one thing I always explain to guys when I'm teaching how to wholesale and stuff like that. Is like don't ever pretend to know what people are going to do with these because you'd be wrong. Just
Yeah.
the facts, what's it worth, what does it need fixed, what's the possession date, and that's it. Those are facts. Don't ever
Yeah.
start to assume what people are going to do with these things. So what maybe isn't so great about what's the how things are going these days?
Um, there's there's lots, well, where I am, there's lots of deals popping up. It's like Christmas is just keeps going and going. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
there's deals, there's like the money's coming down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, these are all really, really enjoyable things. As far as like the market and stuff goes, I think we're in a really good spot right now, especially if you're in a position to be buying right now. It's a good time to be buying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, I think it's delegating. Like I've got guys on the construction side. I've got a bit of a construction background, so I've been very hands-on with a lot of projects. I'm trying to be more hands-off so I can free up more of my time.
Mm-hmm.
So delegating tasks and just trusting in the people that I'm working with to handle stuff. I trust my realtor, I trust my lawyer, I trust my guys on site doing work, and just delegating those tasks, freeing up more of my time. Um, we've got a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old at home. We've got our hands full there. So I think it's between the work and home life balance that's probably the toughest thing. If
Yeah,
I'm
most
stressed at work,
challenging.
I bring it home. If you got 2 kids crying and somebody's texting you about about something, and you're trying to put a deal together, you're stressed about that. And I self-manage my properties. So that can be stressful. It's 10 o'clock at night, somebody's texting me and I'm getting frustrated,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the kids wakes up and I'm half asleep, and it's the balance there that I think is one of the biggest struggles. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't I mean, I don't want to say it's easy, but finding deals, finding private money is not the hardest. To me, I don't think is the hardest thing to overcome. It's
The balancing
finding
act.
it's the balancing act of, you can't work all the time and you can't be home all the time. So
Yeah, it
That's
makes me, it's like when I'm at work, I'm feeling a little crazy about like not being home. And then when I'm at home, I'm like, I know there's something I should be doing. What I do is I have an old school watch and I just put a timer on for 20 minutes and I say for this 20-minute period, I'm not thinking about X or Y. Whatever
yeah.
I'm in, it's like I'm gonna focus and just focus periods that helps me to really alleviate those anxieties. So have there been any major challenges along the way since you started in the real estate journey?
Couple times I ran into some roadblocks with financing with the banks.
Hmm.
I think a big transition was I was able to just, walk into a normal bank and say, "Hey, I need a mortgage," right? Scotiabank said, "Yeah, sure, no problem. Here you
Hmm.
go, happy to do it." And then one day the bank said, "No, we can't do that anymore. You've
You're
reached your
maxed out.
max. This is it. Sorry." Um, and that was a big change. And I did kind of link up with a bank that's a little more flexible. They've got a commercial, they call it the commercial side. It's
Yeah.
basically geared towards guys like me that are running a business. Do as many deals as you want as long as the numbers work.
Yeah.
And
It's the rate's a little higher, but you have no cap.
that's right. But not bad. I mean, we
It's
were
usually like a point. What are you getting, like a point over the residential rate?
what's prime right now for
I'm not sure. It depends on where it is. But
where
usually when we transitioned from into commercial rates, it was a point more. So whatever you
yeah.
renewed at, but it was a little
Yeah.
bit
So
more, but no limit.
so we were just talking about a refi. It's at 5.99.
That's not
And
bad.
that's very manageable. And I've said it to people a million times. Um, like expect inflation to be 5. So so 5 is free.
Why can't I have my 2% interest back?
But like,
Hopefully you locked in for 5 years when you had it. But I mean, everyone thought it was going to last forever. It seemed like they'd been low for so long that that was becoming
for
the
sure.
normalization. And then now it's, kind of gone the other way. So, when it comes to real estate investing, what do you think your secret sauce? What comes easy to you that other people might find difficult to do?
Um, I think I can I can walk through a property, first showing, 45 minutes, depending on the size of the property. I could be there 30 minutes to an hour. And and I know if I want it, I know if it's a deal or not. I know it's there. I can make the decision quickly. I don't do sight unseen because I think it's kind of irresponsible. But I mean, I've bought properties on 10-minute walkthrough. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
this looks great. I can do this. This is a deal. Done. And yeah, maybe there's a few surprises now and then,
Yeah, it's the can of worms business. Why not?
but there's been some good surprises too. Like,
Hmm.
bought a property pretty quickly once, and oh my gosh, there's this great big attic space. I didn't even, I didn't even know this was there. Like
Hmm.
bonus stuff. I was just looking at one this morning, and I said, "What a great deal!" We find out this massive 2-car garage thing in the back is part of it. I said,
Mm.
we're saying, I don't know if this is part of the deal or not. I said, I don't care. Okay, but now we found out that it is. So you get these nice surprises, and we're like, hey, this was a bargain without it, so it can only be a bargain with it.
I've
Uh,
found the people that have had a lot of success in real estate and just deal making in general have that innate, this is a deal, this isn't a deal,
yeah,
and can walk away um, without getting attached. And when they find something, they make a decision quickly. What's the quote? Make a decision quickly and change your mind slowly. That's
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 right.
usually the mark of a successful individual, whereas the opposite is makes a decision slowly, changes their mind quickly. That's
Yeah,
that's the opposite spectrum. So where do you want this business to go in the future? Let's talk 2024 and beyond.
2024. I'm trying to sit down, look at my goals. I've kind of bumped up some of my goals this year of numbers that I want to do. Um, I would love to have a full-time property manager
Mm.
working with me. That would alleviate a lot of stress. Um, Again, just doing more deals, bringing on one more person to take over another task, and that should. I mean, in reality, that should open some doors to free up my time to look for more money, look for more deals, and
Grow the business a bit.
and grow the business, right? So it was a big step being, more hands off on the projects, not being on tools and stuff. Spending a little more time walking around, talking to people, a little more paperwork, a little bit less dirt and noise. So yeah, so I mean, moving forward, I'd love to have a full-time property manager, get, just more people helping streamline this process for me. Um, and hopefully free up a little more of my time and my stress, right? So and that's
Yeah.
been a big thing I've been talking about lately, just in general, is I've been stressed out of my mind, and I've been starting to kind of pick apart what's causing the stress more and more, and be like, hey, I'm going to cut this out, or I'm going to, maybe I can find somebody to replace that, doing that task for me, and reduce that stress. And again, so I'm not bringing that stress home, or being, wound up at 10 o'clock at night. Um, so yeah, I want to keep growing. I think I've got some pretty solid numbers. I think my returns and my growth has been very good. I'd like to keep that going, if not increase it significantly. Um, but yeah, it's I can't do it alone. So it's slowly trying to bring more people on board to help me.
Yeah, there's that thing is people spend a lot of time thinking about what they want, but not so much time about what they don't. And that's really where the devil in the details is like, what don't I want in my life? Instead of like, oh,
Absolutely.
I want more, 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 more. Well, can we just maybe pare some stress out of it, and maybe that'll make you happy as
Yeah,
opposed to just
for sure.
shooting for more. So, with everything you've accomplished so far with your real estate investing today, what would you say your biggest obstacle is now?
Ti I probably time management. Like,
Mm,
again, it kind of goes back to the balance thing. Where am I spending my time? Do I need to drive to that project today and spend 3-4 hours?
mm,
Probably not. I want to, but using that time, managing myself. Like, I want to go do the fun stuff. I want to go, um, because again, like, I go back, it's not simple to find funds all the time, but
mm-hmm,
once you've kind of got a grasp on it, it's okay. I can find some money. I can find a deal. I've got the manpower. But what do I do with myself? Because I'm not very good at managing myself, I guess.
mm.
So again, it boils back to a lot of these personal personal problems, I guess, that I'm like, maybe I want to be overly involved in some stuff sometimes, and I could pass those tasks off to somebody.
Yeah, I remember I was on a podcast with this lady, and she was talking about, because her and her husband had a real estate portfolio, rental properties, and then they eventually moved to Hawaii. And I'm like, okay, so is it in Hawaii? She's like, no, they're in like Tennessee or something. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, how did you manage to change from being on site and then being remote? And she's like, well, for a year, we just practiced not going to that thing for 3 hours, and we
Yeah.
sent someone else. And so pretending that you're actually out of town was the key for them. They did it for a whole year. And then they realized, oh, look, at the end of the year, they didn't have to do or go anywhere. They could, but they didn't necessarily have to do or go anywhere. And that really got them that control of their impulse to touch their property constantly. Oh, because I can, I will. And then so they just kind of weaned themselves off that kind of addiction of like going and seeing it and driving by the property on their way between properties to see if there's a mattress in the front yard or whatever, checking on their properties on a route, that you can easily add an extra 45 minutes to your drive home. So
Yeah. I like that. That's a good idea. You're still here. You can still, if you're really
yeah, if
hacked,
it
there you
really
go.
went
But
to level 11, you can drive down there and move the mattress. But the practice of disconnection, because I
yeah,
think we all want financial freedom, which is what we usually have to work for with the real estate when we're raising money and doing deals. But then what ends up happening is you end up buying yourself another job unless you can find that time freedom, which is the exit plan of systems and SOPs and putting
absolutely.
people in places. So let's
Absolutely.
talk a little bit about money. What are you doing to fund deals these days?
Um, a couple different things. That the bank is very good to work with me. They know me.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a great relationship. If I say, hey, I need a little extra something, can you just look at this deal a little bit closer, or what can we do to improve this deal? Um, I've been able to raise some private money through a few brokers that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've got a I've got a friend who lends out private money. He's an older guy. He's been lending out money forever. Sometimes you call him up and say, "Hey, do you got an extra couple bucks you can put out for a deal?" And more often than not, yeah, I've got some, or I can find some, or whatever. Um, the broker route, I was just talking with a mortgage broker about this. It's not a bad route, and he's saying, hey, if you've got direct access to private money, go call that guy. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he just put out 200 or whatever on this other deal for somebody. He doesn't have anything on hand.
Mm-hmm.
The broker route, I think, this guy was almost, I don't want to say talking me out of it, but he's saying, it's cheaper to skip the broker. Well, of
Yeah, it
course
is.
it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's the same thing as, leveraging the realtor, the lawyer, the bookkeeper, the property
Mm-hmm.
manager. I'm I'm paying you,
To do the
but
work.
you're also freeing up a lot of my time and my
Yeah,
stress.
yeah.
And I don't see anything wrong with that. And I'm noticing there's a lot of brokers who know a lot of private lenders, whether it's a MIC, whether it's somebody personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have raised money on mortgages, promissory notes directly from people before, family if they've got it. Um, but mortgage brokers have a lot of access, and yes, you pay a little bit more, but they're also going to free up a lot of your time and a lot of your
Yeah,
anxiety
it's
on.
like one call. Hey, can you fund this deal? They can do 70 or 80% of it. And then you go find maybe your own funds and strap it on, or put, someone else's money into a second position. And you can usually solve the money fairly quickly. It's just that first position, second position kind of money. If you don't have,
Oh, for
depends on your scale, right? Where you want to go and how big you're trying to buy. So with respect to deals, are you a find the deal and then go looking for the money, or do you prefer to have your money lined up and go looking for the next deal?
I've done a little bit of both. I used
Mm.
to find the deal and then go find the money. It's a little more stressful than finding the money and then finding the deal.
Mhm, mhm.
I
It's
mean,
like shopping at the mall with no money and then having to leave the mall, go get the
yeah.
money, come back and buy what you wanted,
Well,
or hey,
well,
can you, I got $5. Can you hold this thing for me and run
well,
back and get money?
that's it. Like you're in a panic. You found the deal. You've got to go in there. I think when you find the deal and then you go find the money, is the deal still going to be there when you come back? Are you going to have to put conditions on it? Because if you've got the money, or if whether it's in your pocket or that it's
Yeah,
going to
you're
be in your pocket,
confident that you can buy.
you're confident and you can go in there and say, "Look, I don't need any conditions. Sign on the dotted line. We're done."
And
And
the real
you-
estate agent's like, yes, that's what I like to hear.
realtors love it, but you can be way more aggressive with your price because
Yeah,
it's okay to offer below ask or even
because
way
it's a
below
sure
ask.
thing. Yeah, it's a sure
You know,
thing.
we wrote an offer on something. It was real cheap, and I was below half of the asking price. And I said, but it's there's no conditions, there's no nothing, and we'll close it in 2 weeks. They didn't take
Yeah,
it, but I've had that happen in the past. I've gone 50% off and said, here, there's nothing attached to this. Take it or don't take it. And more times than not, people come back and well, can you come up a little bit, or they'll come down enough that you realize, like, okay, I think I got what I wanted and it's good enough. And we did a lot. We did a lot of deals like that over the years where it was very aggressive,
the
no
bully
conditions,
offer.
quick closing. It's just bullying people for sure. And it's like, here, we're right here. If you sign this, it's sold. It's done.
Yeah,
There's
money
no,
talks. That's a thing in real estate, is money talks, because discounted properties are typically, um, it's not the price point that seems to be the major concern. It's how quickly can you solve my problem of me still owning this house? Like I want out. So like let's not talk about price, but let's talk possession, please. And then, the bully
Yeah,
offer. Let's maybe not. It is the term is bully offer when you come with the money. You say like,
absolutely.
or write the whole thing as a deposit, but it's a confident, strong, unconditional offer, and it works. So, um, what about the social media side of things? A lot of people are raising capital and positioning and finding more lenders through their exposure of like newsletters and things like that. For people to invest significant amounts of capital, they need to know and trust you. So what are you doing in that regard?
I've done a little bit of work on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I have connected with some people, raised some funds through. There's so many groups. There's so many people. Like some of
Yeah.
these groups have 10,000 people. Like it's just insane. You can post on there, hey, I've got deals. People see your name popping up. You chit chat. Um, I see the benefits of it. Sometimes there's probably a little bit of legwork involved because people are kicking tires and saying, well, what are you doing, and or what kind of deal do you have on the go? And but I think more importantly is it to me, anyways, is building relationships with lenders or brokers who you do a deal, they know you do what you say you're going to do, you pay on time, and they say, okay, this guy's good, he knows what he's doing, let's get you some more money. Or they can, or a private lender says, I trust you now, I know you've done all the right things, do you need more money?
Mm-hmm.
I 100% believe like there's people that are doing crazy amounts of business through social media. I've had some luck, some not so much. But I think the long getting, and maybe meeting somebody through one of the investor groups and then building a longer term relationship absolutely goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a lot of brokers on these groups though too that say, hey,
Yeah.
I got access, but there's, again, I don't see any shame in that. They've got access to 50 lenders, private lenders. That's okay. I don't mind. I'll
Well, I've
pay
done
you.
all I've done all my deals through brokers and private capital, like a mix, because rarely are they going to bring all the money. You always
Yeah,
got to bring some money to the table. They want, the standard thing is like, oh, where's your skin in the game? Okay, well, I'll get someone else's skin and bring it into the game and
that's right.
then put it together, and now you got yourself a funded deal. So, um, if people want to connect with you, they want to find out more, possibly invest in your next project, what should they do? How do they find you?
I get a lot of messages through the website. So I open this website, thinkrealsolutions.com. It's a little bit of a work in progress. And, a couple of times people have said, hey, your website's like half built, and sure, that's fine. People reach out on social media. I mean, I'm on Facebook mostly. Um,
Why don't you
that
spell it for the people listening at home, because they're probably not going to be able to. They're not going to get that if you just spit it off. So spell the last name for them.
The last name,
Yeah. Well,
it's
Matt, Matt. Everyone's got that.
Matt is pretty easy. Fillipoff is spelled Fillipoff.
Perfect. There you go. Yeah, I really appreciate you stopping by, Matt, and listening a little bit about your journey. And sounds like you got things under control, and life's a balancing act, man. You got just keep
Absolutely.
keep on it. You'll be just fine.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. All right. Until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thanks for the time.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.